Hello, my name is Sekit, and today I am very excited to say that we're taking a look at Forestry for 1.16.5. And I'll tell you, there's a version for 1.18 floating around too. I don't think it's been released to the public yet, but folks, Forestry is back. Now, behind me here, there is a Beehive from Forestry, and these are apparently gonna work just like they did back in the day. If we look at it, I've got the one probe installed. So it tells us that the proper tool to harvest this thing is a scoop. In addition, when we spawned into the world, we have this forester's manual in our inventory. And for those of us who played the old forestry, we were very happy that that the manual was created because there's a lot of mechanics in this mob, and they can be there's just a lot of it. It's a huge mod, but it all starts, in my opinion, with beekeeping, and this goes on and on and on and on. But you should read the manual. Like, do yourselves a favor. When I actually am playing with this in a survival world, I'll be using the manual. But we're gonna start. We've got a search on here. So, oh, okay, we've just got forestry. Wonderful. We're gonna start with see if we can find a scoop and a smoker. So what you want to do is you want to right-click with the smoker on the beehive. The smoker is usually not hard to craft. Okay, by default, it's tin, which forestry will add to the world. A little bit of leather, flint and steel, blah, blah, blah. You hold down right-click, and there used to be a noise. I don't hear it. I might have that down too low. Okay, we broke it with the scoop and we didn't get anything because we're in creative. So let's go ahead and let's get a modest hive. We got forest hives, wintry hives, modest hives, which you'd find in the desert, tropical hives, which are kind of difficult to find, ender hives, which you can find in the night, or in the end, I should say. You can find them all at night because they give off light. We'll probably see some of that. So let's put a few of these down. And we're gonna go into survival just so we can show this, right? We'll take this Meadows hive and let's turn the volume up. Make sure I'm not just missing it. There it goes. Wonderful. We got ourselves a Meadows princess and a honeycomb. You're guaranteed to get a princess. Drones are a little bit rare. Now, if we were to try that without smoking it, they come after us. Those didn't come after us that bad. But you see, this time we got a modest drone and a modest princess and another honeycomb. So great, bees in the world. These, of course, spawn in the end, and I don't see the old Nether version, but we're very early days in this. So, literally anything could happen. It looks all very old school. They're reskinned, redone, nice looking, very welcome. Don't get me wrong. Now, 1.16, forestry is going to add 3 ore types to the world. I would imagine in 1.18, after vanilla has copper available, the forestry copper would no longer be available. I don't know that for a fact, but it makes sense. Apatite is these are just ores. They'll drop raw, raw tin, raw copper, or probably just the ore since it's 1.16. Apatite is more like it's more like a gem. And memory serves, it's affected by fortune. You use it for fertilizer and for some other stuff in the mod. You want to be on the watch out for all 3 of these things because you're going to use it. Now, to actually use any of the bees to do anything, you don't just put them out into the world. You've got to put them either in a special single block or a special multi-block structure. The one you'll have access to first off is going to be the bee house. It's just planks and a honeycomb. And of course, you can get these from breaking the hives with your scoop. It used to be that if you just broke them, you wouldn't get anything. I assume it's that way now. Keep that in mind. We take our bee house here, and if we were to throw a couple of bees in it, well, it won't like the modest drone. And I'll show you. Actually, we're not even going to do that. We're going to get another meadows. Oh, Sinister Quill. Maybe these look like the old Nether ones. We might breed these. You'll notice there's a lot more types of bees than there are types of beehives that generate in the world. That's one of those things you're gonna want to like. You breed these together, do all kinds of stuff. We'll take a forest drone. The forest drone won't have any problems out here. The reason I switched is because we'll be able to find this out soon. The different bees have different environments that they like and different flowers that we like, and we'll get into how to discover that. Now that those two bees have bred, and I've never found two bees, as long as there's a queen and a drone, that can't breed, we're going to get this progress bar, and over time, we will probably get some honeycombs in here, and eventually we'll get a new princess and at least one drone, depending on the qualities of the bees that we're breeding. This thing up here is an image of something we don't have yet. I think there's just one of them now. There used to be one for butterflies and one for trees, but that is the analyzer. You make this, so we'll get into the machines and how all this works a little later on. But you make this in another forestry machine. You just need water in a tank and some basic resources. You're good to go. The other thing you need is honey. And you get that from the beehives from a centrifuge. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. For now, we're just going to throw some in here. It'll only give us one. But right now you can see this has ignoble stock, which we can talk about another time, and unknown genome. Put it in the analyzer. It uses up a honey, and you get to learn all about the bee. So flowers, this thing wants cactus around. When it's done with its cycle, it'll give you two drones. That's what this always refers to. So you'll get two drones and a princess. It doesn't seem to. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a little more information if you hold Shift over that I was looking for. The green T stands for temperature, and the H stands for humidity. Those are characteristics of whatever biome you're in. The plains is just neutral. Hot, that's like a desert. It could go down one to warm, or up one to probably infernal or something like a nether bee would like. It can do both. That's what the both means. The other one, it likes an arid humidity, so again, like a desert, and it can go down. I don't know if it goes down to neutral or dry. We'll find out when we take a look, but it says down, so it doesn't go up. If there is one above arid, I don't even know. The other two things there, diurnal and nocturnal, what that means, diurnal in this means that the bee will be active and doing its production during the day. Nocturnal means that the bee will be active and doing its thing at night. So this particular bee will work no matter what the time of day is. There's a lot of other variables that at least used to exist, and we'll get into that real quick. Now, looking in the first chapter, there's a couple things we want to take a look at here. The apiary is your next beehive. These take an impregnated casing. We can find that, we can find it in here somewhere, I'm sure. It's usually just copper. We'll go back to survival. Okay, so these we'll have to make in one of the blocks. So let's start taking a look at these things. All of them need power, and forestry does provide its own power module. So we have three options. The simplest one is this Clockwork Engine. Um, this thing is as manual as it gets. We would produce RF with it by just right-clicking. You can see as I hold down right-click, the front there where the energy comes out gets brighter and brighter. It used to hurt. I don't know if it still does. Forestry, at least as of now, does not add pipes or cables or anything like that. These all do run off RF though, so it shouldn't be hard to, find compatible pipes even without specific compatibility. We might try that maybe in part 2. But we want to get ourselves a carpenter here. Make it out of bronze, one of these sturdy casings. The sturdy casings are just bronze, and bronze is 1 part tin to 3 parts copper. Very simple. So we got our carpenter. Oh, I must have auto jump on. We got our clockwork engine. This thing doesn't have any power right now. It'll hold a little bit. So if we hold down right click here and charge a boy up, we'll see if it starts hurting us if we hold this down for a second. No, maybe it doesn't do that anymore. You can see we've got just a little bit of power in there, but it's enough to demonstrate how this thing works. We have a little bit of oak here. We put that in. We put an oak log in. It might need more to really do it. And let's get ourselves a bucket of water. That sounds pretty good. Dump it in there. Maybe we'll look at the recipes. You can see there's all kinds of recipes for stuff in here. So maybe looking at the recipes is not the most efficient thing that we can do here. We are looking at some kind of, sturdy casing. That's just bronze. Maybe we were looking at an impregnated casing. For that, we need seed oil. Do we need that to make the apiaries now? Yes, we do. Okay, so seed oil is something we're going to have to think about. It used to be that you get seed oil from a squeezer, and that is probably still the case. So let's put one down. We'll put another clockwork engine down, and we'll charge it up just a little bit. Now, you can put all kinds of things in here, and forestry itself adds the best things. There's all kinds of trees that are seed and nut and fruit producing that produce, decent amounts of seed oil. So we could look here on the recipes. You see we got cherries, for instance, give us, 1/20th of a bucket's worth. Honey is 1/10 of a bucket's worth. So honey is a little better. I believe these are secondary outputs. They all have their uses. Phosphor will give you lava. We want seed oil. Oh, we can get fruit juice. Neat. We can get seed oil from walnuts. We can, if that's fruit juice, that's fruit juice. That'll give us honey. I really like the idea of getting, okay, so vanilla seeds give you 1/100th of a bucket's worth. These chestnuts are fantastic. Fruit juice, that's a newer one on me, I feel like. I feel like we got seed oil in 1.12. from those resources. But if we were to, let's see, let's give ourselves some seeds here. Let's give ourselves some more honey. Now, can I give myself more? Yes, I can. I don't do creative much, so I don't know what I'm doing. We'll truck right along. We'll get a little bit of honey. And then to get it out, since we don't have any pipes available to us, we have a couple different options. Now, the simplest is just throw a bucket in there. And when there's enough of whatever it is that you're trying to get out, oh, we're just getting honey from this. We're not getting seed oil at all. I read it wrong. It'll give us a honey bucket. So if we had, get this stuff out of here. If we had chestnuts, on the other hand, there we go. These would give us a significant amount of seed oil. So let's give that a try. These things do run out of go power fairly quickly. Yeah, 220 a pop. Not too bad. For now, though, we're just going to grab some. Because that's fine. We'll put a little bit of seed oil in here. Oh, we've got water in here. We got to think about a way to get it out. There is a way with another Carpenter recipe called the Pipette. Oh no, it's not a Carpenter recipe. You just use wool and glass panes. So let's get ourselves. Okay, so these don't stack. Get ourselves some of these. We right click, we got the water out of there. Now we got it in there, and we could do something with it, like throw it away. Oh, okay, we could just creative mode will just allow us to fill this all the way. So this isn't doing nothing as it is. That's because it doesn't have the complete recipe available. It knows what it could make with this recipe and this seed oil, but we need the ingredients. So we throw the necessary amount of materials in there, whatever it is, and we can find recipes that will take honey, that will take water. Since we can make lava, there will probably be lava-related ones. That's how you make the impregnated casings. To get yourselves the next tier of beehives. How are these two coming along? She's about halfway done, and we got one honeycomb. Now, the next question you might have is, what do you want to do all this for in the first place? Well, bees give you all kinds of interesting resources. Let's see if we can find one that'll do something interesting. We got this phantasmal queen here, right? Now we're skipping ahead a little bit. Let's look at the first mutations that it wants us to do. So we got common and cultivated bees, right? You get those by breeding the world gen bees together. That's how you get a common bee. You won't get a mutation, if memory serves, in a bee house. You do need the apiary for that. So we'll just grab one out. And we'll plop one down. And we're going to take her right out of here and put her right into here. It always takes her a minute to find her flowers. Just the way it goes. So, sure enough, we got a mutation. And that's in the apiary, not in the bee house. I just threw a common queen in there just for laughs. What we have here now, we don't know these, even though we knew them when we put them in. They're different bees now. Now this is both the active and the passive genes, the dominant and the recessive, what have you. Both are common. Now over here, both are meadows. Oh no, it's part meadows, part forest, because what we had was a meadows and a forest. My experience has been these combine in different ways. It could be just coincidence that we got two meadows forest hybrids of exactly the same variety. Let me make sure these aren't. Yeah, okay, no. The inactive is. I was looking down here. Okay, so this is part. Now, to stabilize it, you could breed it with another common bee. Eventually, you do want stable lines of these bees. But the next step would be to use the common and something like a meadows drone to try to breed a cultivated bee. I also notice we should be able to access this now. Yeah, there's a whole GUI over here that you can get into when you click on this with an analyzer. We've got our active species, all kinds of stats about that, and we can see things that we couldn't see before. Like cave dwelling, that means can the bees do their thing if they don't have the access to the open sky here? Both of these blocks have access to the sky. If we were to put something on top of it, like an oak log, they would no longer have access to the sky, and it would tell you that. We've also got a tab of information on the inactive species, the possible produce. Honeycombs aren't the only things you can get out of these boys. And further mutations. We don't know them yet, but as we learn them, these will complete. And it doesn't look like the bees are integrated with JEI, at least at this point. That used to be a separate mod. Perhaps we'll see it again. So your best bet is A, trial and error, B, so far the breeding trees seem pretty much the same that they were in 1.12. You want to get rid of this interface, you click the button again. We're going to grab a pair of these spectacles. Usually these things are not a okay, yeah, just glass panes and more bronze. That's cool. We're gonna throw them on our head here. And they go right on your head slot there. The reason I did that, and the reason I grew these two trees out here is because of the other function of bees, which is cross-tree pollination. The mechanic basically works that, when there are bees in one of your hives here, they will act to mutate the leaf blocks, and if you get the sapling off the mutated leaf block, you'll have a chance of getting a whole new kind of tree, of which there are very, very many. Oh, and the point of all that was the spectacles help you see those blocks once they form, and it takes a little while. Now, while we're waiting for these folks to do their thing, we're going to pop down another apiary, and we are going to go back to creative. We're going to pick ourselves up a couple wintry beads. They come from the wintry hive. Shocked, I know. We could throw these two in here, and the breeding will actually happen. We'll get our queen, but then we'll see some error messages. It's too hot for these bees. They're not going to do their thing. Also, the flowers they like aren't around. So if we were to look here, we would see also it has an effect of freezing, which we might want to watch out for, because the effect of a lot of these bees can be very negative. You'll want to find ways to remove them, either through crossbreeding. Well, actually right now, very early days, looks like you're going to be doing that with crossbreeding. They also, however, you get 4 drones life cycle, and the life cycle is not long. So if you need a lot of drones for something, Wintry Bees might be a way to go. Bees you'll definitely want to consider, although they're quite dangerous, are the tropical bees. The tropical bees give you a special kind of honeycomb that gives you silk. And the silk is used for all kinds of things. Most importantly, you put it in a Carpenter to get woven silk. But then with the woven silk, this is how you make your alveary parts. That's the multi-block beehive. It's also how you make your apiarist shirts and everything else that you need if you need to get near bees that are dangerous. They can't hurt you if you're wearing a full set of this stuff. It also has a number of uses in the Carpenter in terms of making backpacks, which don't look like they're completely implemented yet. Now, if we look in JI, we can see that these things exist, but there aren't any icons for them. I have a feeling I'd crash my world if I tried to put them in there, to put them in my inventory. But for example, we have this digging pack for 15 slots. It's very easy to make. It just uses vanilla materials. You use it in your inventory, you right click with it, you got 15 slots. You can put like dirt, stone, that kind of thing in. Won't take wood, won't take gems. There's another backpack for that. You can upgrade it in your Carpenter to get access to 45 slots that will all take a full stack. And that appears to be it for the digging backpack. Some of them are a little higher. The Apiarist backpack, for instance, will hold 125 slots of bees for you, which is good because my experience is the princesses never stack, and the drones in the world do stack, but once you've bred them once, unless you're reading the same line over and over again, they don't. Now, the central crafting ingredient is something you'll also want. This is an arborist's chest. That's for trees. I don't know why it would want you to use that to make the bee backpack. An apiarist chest. Let's see. Yeah, okay, maybe I was just reading it wrong. Maybe there's another one for saplings that I was just misreading, or the backpack is what you know what I'm talking about. Let's grab ourselves an apiarist's chest. We can all see what I'm talking about here. So the bees don't stack. This will tell you some things too. I don't know why it's saying we don't have any drones in here. It's very early days in the mod, so probably not everything's working exactly perfectly. But you've got 5 pages worth of stuff. It generally works with middle click to sort, but like I said, it's very early days. Even the low-level backpacks are very useful early game if you don't have any other inventory solutions. Modded Minecraft, your inventory can fill up real fast, so I'll be looking forward to those backpacks when they're fully implemented. In addition to the bees, Forestry adds a number of trees to your world. Some of them will generate in the overworld, like the sugar maple, but you've got a whole variety that you can go ahead and use the bee pollination mechanic to get, or if you get lucky, like we did, you can get them in the overworld. Let's take a look at just sugar maple, right? Okay, so just maple is actually what we want. We'll have pollen, which we can harvest and analyze in our analyzer. We'll get into how to get that probably in part 2. I don't see stripped wood yet, which is unfortunate. That's kind of just how it goes. It's like I said, it's still early days. The fireproof Maplewood is just a treated version of the regular Maplewood. Let's see what that's gonna take. Oh, okay. I think we just oh, okay, no, we need another machine, the Thermionic Fabricator. A little bit of special wax that we get from a special bee, and we need to melt down a little bit of glass or sand in there to get liquid glass so you can have nice fireproof wooden blocks. I don't know if you noticed there, but there's a fireproof version of everything but the door. And I forget, I know you can set, I think you can set doors on fire, but I forget if they burn. So we've got planks, slabs, fences, gates, and stairs. You know what the first thing we have to see is if the old lighting glitch is still a thing. Let's find out. Nah, those are beautiful. In some versions, in some packs, you'll get just like black here and like all black up on the surface of this. It's a glitch. I don't know why it happens sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. but it sure ain't happening right now. Now our bees finished up, and this time we got a variety. That common drone, or the common queen, and the drone that was part meadows, part forest. I think the queen was also part forest. Now what we have now is, get out of there. We got dominant meadows, inactive common. That's unfortunate. We've got, okay, we got common also inactive, and we got common active. So if I was trying to stabilize it, I'd probably throw the meadows in with the common, and I might do it in a bee house. And the reason is they'll mutate in the apiary. They don't mutate in the bee house. You know, it's funny, I'm looking here in the manual and I don't see anything about the bee houses not mutating. So we might have to experiment. Now back to the apiaries though. These spots here, which we don't have in the bee house, these hold frames. And there's a couple of types. There's an untreated frame, which you can just make with string and sticks. It's better than nothing. It increases the production by double. It's got 80 durability. Genetic decay, not really sure what that means. Sounds good. Our impregnated frame uses impregnated sticks. This is another carpentry recipe that uses seed oil. Finally, the proven frame. This is something that I've only been able to get from the special forestry villagers. Now, eventually, the alveary portion of the show will unlock. It's a 3x3x3 multi-block, but just like it says, the bees produce quite a bit. We'll need all these. We'll need 27 alveary blocks total. We'll also need slabs on the top. These other things are, you want some of them, right? We'll want the swarmer here, definitely. The heater will allow us to warm up the aviary. It apparently does need a little bit of power. Fan will cool it off. Probably also needs power, even though it doesn't say. The sieve will go ahead and, instead of the trees pollinating, the sieve will go ahead and collect the pollen for us, and that's that sugar maple pollen that we saw in JI. So let's take some of these parts here. We'll put the alveary, just the blocks themselves down on the first layer here. We'll put in a swarmer. We'll put in stabilizer. I forget exactly what that does. Sounds good though. I like things to be stable. Stabilizer, well, it doesn't, maybe it's required, I'm not sure. The heater and the fan definitely aren't. The hydro regulator, I don't think we need to worry about. We're gonna put, we'll wait on the sieve, I think. We'll see if we can actually get some of these to pollinate. So we'll put these down. We'll put a final row here. And then all the way on top, we just got to cover it with something. Any slab looks pretty good. And you can see we now have a multi-block structure here that has a GUI just like the other ones. The main difference between the alveary and the alveary doesn't take frames. I believe it will mutate for us. We can do all kinds of other things with it, like you saw with, change in the humidity, change in the temperature. It's a real good thing. Let's go ahead and see if it will mutate for us too. Now, the common bee and the cultivated bee, which we would get from a common bee and any of the vanilla gen bees. can combine to give us, I believe, a noble bee and possibly also a diligent bee. We're going to find out. Now, these things have good information on them too. This will just give you tips. Uh, this will tell you something about the temperature and the humidity in the place where you have whatever version of the hive that you're using. So we do want to take a look at our friend the centrifuge here. It's not hard to craft. It's another sturdy casing, bunch of copper, some glass. This is what we actually use to process the honey. Now it does need power, so we're going to charge up our little Clockwork Engine here. And we're going to give it some power. There we go. And we'll see a progress bar here, and it'll do its thing. Of course, not if it's already out of power. Well, for part two, we're gonna put like Pawa or something in because these are cool, but I don't want to really build the infrastructure to do a lot of power gen for this in what's supposed to be just a quick spotlight. Now it looks like the first thing takes the first operation will take the honeycomb and place it here. And the second operation should actually give us our product. We got a honey drop. Looks like it's going to go around again. If it goes around a third time, that's probably a creative mode thing. But I think they can go around twice. Yeah, okay. And we got some wax on the second go around. The honey, you can do all kinds of things. You can make glistening melons. There's these stamps, which are kind of used in a multiplayer mail system. You can make honeyed slice with bread, which is a really good food. Here's more stamps. You also use them in the Carpenter as a crafting ingredient to make these capsules. And a squeezer you can use to get honey and a small chance of propolis, which is another crafting ingredient. With that, we can make special kinds of peat, which is a fuel for another engine. You can get slimes. You can get a genetic filter, which let's talk about the genetic filter real quick. Let's look it up in here. It looks really cool. The genetic filter, it's a kind of a pipe, and we can use it to sort. There's 6 rows, and okay, let's pull one out. Let's just pull one out. Let's see. Genetic, is it? Here it is, one genetic filter. So we'll pop this down. Doesn't want to connect to it, does it? The stabilizer? To the swarmer? Up here? Doesn't like it. Over here? Over here? Between these two? How about the chest? Do you like the chest? Doesn't like much. Really doesn't like much. Let's go into survival real quick. One more thing I want to try. No, doesn't even like the chest. Okay. Let's try survival here. There we go. Can I use this now? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to attach to. Or really how that works. Anyway, I've kind of been going on for a long time, little rambling, just because I'm excited about all of this. We will be back in part 2. We'll take a closer look at the machines, at the multi-block farm, and hopefully the managed farm as well. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.